André Carvalho. I'm from Porto Alegre, Brazil, dermatologist. I'm responsible for the psoriasis ambulatory in Hospital Moinhos de Vento in my city. I am part of the Brazilian Society of Dermatology. I am an IPC counselor for more than 5 years, and for the last year, I've been nominated to be an IPC board member, which is something that makes me deeply honored. I started my career in dermatology in Porto Alegre, Brazil, where I graduated. Uh, then I started my training in dermatology here in Porto Alegre in Santa Casa de Misericórdia Dermatology Service. The last 5 months of this training, I was sent abroad to pursue a career in a fellowship in dermatologic surgery and Mohs surgery. So I managed to get a fellowship in Mohs surgery with Dr. David Leffel in Yale for something that was extremely important in my career. But I had 6 months to do that, and this training in Mohs surgery was just 2 months, 3 months. So the first 3 months that I've been in the United States, I managed to stay in the University of Cincinnati under the mentorship of Dr. Dia Mutasim. Dr. Mutasim was the head of the department of the University of Cincinnati at that time, and he was very interested and was very knowledgeable in immunodermatology. At that time, they were starting recruiting and doing studies for alefacept, for efalezumab, and even infliximab and etanercept in 2001, 2002. So I started hearing about those spectacular drugs for psoriasis, something that we didn't have at that time. And I started to get very interested in that, and talking to Dr. Mutasim about that, and talked with the residents in University of Cincinnati. It was very important to understand that that was the future of dermatological treatment, maybe. When I got back to Brazil, I was incorporated as I was invited to remain at my department, the dermatology department, as a preceptor and a teacher. And so I stayed there, but there was no Mohs department. There was no equipment, cryostat for Mohs at that time. So I had to wait for some time to get into Mohs. During that period of time, which there was no way of doing Mohs, the head of the service, Dr. Giovini, maybe my greatest mentor in dermatology, told me, well, nobody wants to get or to be responsible for the psoriasis ambulatory. People were stuck in the rotational treatment from methotrexate to acitretin to cyclosporine and then back without getting any better. So nobody wanted that. And I said, no, I'm really interested in that because I've been studying it. I've got in contact with new therapies or possibilities of new therapies in the future. It may be interesting. And I understood very early that psoriasis was going to lead the way in the new scientific discoveries in dermatology. And that was what happened. And we are seeing now new discoveries in alopecia areata, vitiligo, atopic dermatitis, hidradenitis suppurativa, and other diseases. But psoriasis led the way. And in that manner, I decided to be responsible for the ambulatory. I fell in love with the study of the disease and immunodermatology and psoriasis in particular. And it was very important because people they didn't have any kind of treatment, and they didn't have any hope. So from 2002 until 2005, when we got biologics in Brazil, and it was very hard because access was very hard even in 2005. I managed to keep patients integrated in the ambulatory and trying to study even more and to be capable of giving them at least some kind of hope for the near future. And that was what happened. And it made me fall in love with caring for patients with psoriasis, which is something that I'm proudly doing to this day. Um, I consider myself to be predestined to study psoriasis because I have psoriasis, I have nail psoriasis, and I have psoriatic arthritis. My mother has psoriasis, but that was not the motivation for me to do it. Um, because I discovered my psoriasis after I already was delving deep into the psoriasis study. But what made me believe that we could make a difference in patients was the main goal of my in patients' life. Sorry, was the main goal of my decision to keep psoriasis as my main subject in dermatology, without forgetting the other subjects, of course. The IPC is something that happened in my life. With I got in contact with the IPC through a dear friend, a very important colleague here in Brazil, which is Dr. Ricardo Ramiti. Ricardo told me about the IPC. I started following the IPC on the internet and consuming what the IPC was doing in terms of education and continuing medical education. And then some years ago, Ricardo told me, well, your name was brought to the table, and you were accepted into IPC as a counselor. And it was really a fantastic news, because I always admired everyone involved in the IPC from the start. In the IPC, besides being a board member, now I am one of the chairs of the membership committee, sorry. And I am one of the co-chairs of the guidelines committee, one of participants in that committee. There are lots of stuff that the IPC changed in my career, lots of opportunities the IPC have brought into my career, not only in my career, but in my psoriasis knowledge and dermatological knowledge that I acquired through the contact with the IPC work and the IPC experts. I am deeply grateful to be part of it. I believe that everyone in dermatology that is interested in psoriasis should get in touch with the IPC, should follow the IPC, and why not become a counselor or even a board member.